Y'all ready?
Fish Stripes live on a Friday evening as the season winds down and the Marlins head to Atlanta with a very special guest. It's Kenny from Takes Were Made, as you all know him. We are glad to have him back, our first recurring guest on the streams.
Do I get a shirt?
Could not imagine a better guy to be our first recurring guest than Charles Entertainment Cheese. Welcome in, everybody. It's a Friday night, and we've got a good show for you. Make sure to stick around. We've got, as I mentioned on Twitter, going to fix my camera here a little bit. We've got a big announcement at the end of the show for you guys that we're all really excited to fire off here. So that'll be right before prediction time. We're going to give you guys our big announcement, and make sure to hang out until then, and then also stick through to see our predictions for this series against Atlanta. But before we get there, we got to go to the Marlins series against the New York Mets. They once again take 2 of 3 from the New York Mets. It was another impressive series for the Marlins as they continue to kind of try and play spoiler. And now they're just 11 wins away from that 70-win mark, and they've got 6 against Washington the rest of the year. And we know they've played the rest of the division well as well. They go to Washington right after they go to Atlanta. Guys, the spoiler roll, I mean, they take 2 of 3 from the Phillies. They take 2 of 3 from the Mets. Now they go up to Atlanta, who's, again, getting hot. They just swept the Nationals. And all of a sudden, the Marlins are falling into this spoiler role. So, Kenny, as our special guest, I'm going to go to you first here, man. Just what are you enjoying about the Marlins playing spoiler against the division, and what did you like about this series against the Mets?
Okay, I thought you were going to ask, what am I enjoying, period, because it's almost nothing. But in the series versus the Mets, I mean, the same thing I've been enjoying since the deadline, really, just watching the young guys, watching Jazz, watching Jesus Sanchez. I mean, obviously, De La Cruz has been, like, phenomenal. Watching the young pitchers get a chance, watching Luzardo improve the past couple starts. And I hate the Mets fans. I hate all of the NL East. But being able to play spoiler for the Mets and watching their season crash and burn has been amazing to me. Like it's been one of the sweet spots, and I would love to be able to do the same against the Braves. I don't see it happening, but that's what I loved watching about the Mets series. Jazz hitting one, talking like 3 miles into the upper deck was beautiful. Like blast. That's mostly it's what I've been enjoying the whole time, really. Like, look at that thing. Jesus Christ.
It's a gorgeous swing.
I cannot believe that was only 4.
I also didn't know that guy caught that with one hand.
That's a great catch.
I thought he just left the ball behind, and I didn't realize until this morning that he actually caught the baseball. Which that maybe they'll give that guy a chance over Lewin Diaz at first next year or something. But
okay.
You think that's a barrel right there? Look at that swing. That is a gorgeous swing.
But that's what I've been enjoying about it, and I hopefully they can do the same against the Braves, because God knows I hate the Braves more than the Mets.
Well, one of the big storylines of the last series definitely is Jesus Luzardo's last start last night. Maybe not his best start. It would still probably be that one a couple times out, but still really good. Again, Alex Carver, 5 2/3, 8 Ks, just 2 runs. Getting better every time out, it seems, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we can all say that we hope for the rest of the year we have him paired up with Sandy Leon, because he called him perfectly again. And in this start, he had all. I think this start was better than the other start where he had 8 strikeouts 2 starts ago, because man, he had all 4 pitches working. In that start previous, the curveball was okay, but in this start, the curveball was fantastic. Changeup was there, fastball was there. So I think this start, personally, outside of the 2 solo homers or whatever he gave up, was incredible. Really good. I loved everything about that start for him. One more out, you get the quality. That would have been better. But man, overall, fantastic. I really liked him. Sandy calls him perfect. And yeah, like you said, it's a guy that when he's been paired up with Sandy Leon, he's gotten better every time out. So yeah, I hope that we leave him with Leon for the rest of the year. And again, we've talked about this before, but that's the value that Sandy Leon provides to the Marlins. It's probably one of the only values that he provides, but it's a big value, especially on a young team that's building pitchers. So really
it's a good one, and it's why I like when they throw him out there with Edward Cabrera, which I was surprised when they did throw him out there with Edward Cabrera that it didn't go great I didn't love the game plan. I haven't loved the game plan with Edward Cabrera, but I certainly loved it with Jesus Luzardo last night. I mean, you look, fill out the rest of the line, 2 hits, 2 runs, still the 4 walks though. And Isaac, this is where I'm going to come to you. What's the biggest improvement you've seen him make? And then what's the biggest improvement he still has to make?
Yeah, that was the thing. That to start yesterday's start, he walked a lot of guys. I was listening to Glenn Gifford on the way somewhere, and he was falling behind guys. He gave up a couple of home runs early. He walked a lot of guys early. I think he had 3 walks through the first 2 innings. And for him to settle in and go for the rest of the game and strike out 8 and pitch the way he did and keep the Marlins in the ball game was just tremendous. And he really impressed me last night with his stability, being able to chill, throw strikes after that rough couple for 2 innings, and he pitched really well. He's really improving.
Yeah, Daniel Rodriguez joining us and wearing his Tottenham Hotspur jersey. We've got 3 Spurs on the bottom of the screen right now. It's a great sight to see. 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. Not sure I'm gonna be waking up for that one. But welcome to the stream, Daniel. We're glad to have you. Kevin, talk to me, man. You've loved this spoiler. You're taking it on full force. So what were your thoughts on this series?
Thank God. I mean, the Mets are now under 500. Let's keep that in mind. Not the cherry on the top just yet. I think they lose a couple more. I think maybe that'll be the cherry on the top, and then you see the competition between Phillies and the Braves for that number 1 spot. Sandy Leon, not Sandy Leon, Sandy Alcantara. I'm not fucking talking about Sandy Leon. Sandy Alcantara, man, 14 Ks, 9 innings. That's his best start ever as a Marlin. Mm-hmm. This man went off on the Mets. I mean, and he was still pitching 100 in the 8th inning. I mean, come on, it's just consistency with this guy. I didn't watch the Luzardo start at all. I had other things to do for school. So but besides that, the first game, I did predict sweep. The Marlins, I thought for a second almost had it, but I didn't go their way at the end. But yeah, overall good series. The spoiler season looking good for now. Let's see if we can do it to the Braves tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it took until Kevin to talk about Sandy Alcantara. It's kind of ridiculous. It's just he's been so good this year that it almost gets lost, right? In the shuffle is just that he had a 14K 9 inning 1-run outing, and it was definitely the best outing of his career. And Daniel Rodriguez, I don't know if you're still there or what's going on. Welcome back in. But just talk to us about that, what you see from Sandy, and just how 3 of the last 4 times he's been out there, it's been career high, and career high in strikeouts, and he goes with 14 last night or the other night.
3 out of the 4, he's had double-digit strikeouts. If there's a second half Cy Young, it definitely has to go to Sandy. Sandy has just been incredible. If there's a time to give him an extension, it'll be right now. This guy has just been on fire. He's been the best pitcher, not the best pitcher, but the best player for the Marlins this entire season. He has been the lone bright spot from the season from hell. And it just shows, a lot of good hope for next year in 2022, and especially what Sandy's been doing so far this season and in the last 4 starts also. It's just really great to see from Sandy. It's great to see just something good happen to the Marlins. Just to see at least one bright spot and just a black cloud all over the Marlins. And just one shining spot, and it's Andy. Yeah.
Well, the Mets now 5 games out of first place. We talked about the division race last time and how it was going to be so exciting. The Braves might honestly put it to bed this weekend with their sweep of the Nationals, and then now they get the Marlins, with the Phillies 3.5 back, the Mets 5 back. And then obviously the Marlins and the Nationals at the bottom of the cellar. The Marlins actually have a 1-game lead on the Nationals for staying out of the cellar, which is exciting, definitely. I think all of us on this stream don't want to see the Marlins finish in last place again. But Noah, just again, I think we need to go around and talk about Sandy a little bit because we really have to. The best start of his career. Talk to us about it.
I think I came in late to that game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Happy New Year, by the way. Yeah, Shana
Tova. I gotta head out of here because of that same reason. I came in late to that start, and I came in and it was just domination. He didn't let up. He didn't take his foot off the gas. He was throwing over. He threw a pitch that was registered on Bally Sports as 102 in the 9th inning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's what?
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
It
was insane.
That's like otherworldly power. to be doing that on like your 100th pitch. Yeah, I know I just overdid that, but listen, he deserves it. Last night's game was wacky.
Yeah,
it's literally like that first inning. We had a guy. They scored a run on a wild on 2 wild pitches. And Jesus Lazaro looked great except for that first 2 innings and that home run in the third. He looked great, but it was just it might be one of the wackiest games I've seen all season.
yeah. You want to talk about Sandy? I mean, last few times out, dating back to that blow up in Colorado, 7 innings, 8 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings, 6 1/3, and then 9 innings, and he takes the no decision. And Kenny, this has just been the story of the year, right? Like Sandy gets through 9 and gets a 14 strikeouts, 1 run, gets a freaking no decision. How is that even possible?
It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I can't imagine. What the fuck? Like he has to at this point, he has to be treated like LeBron in Miami, where he has to have a say in like front office decisions. Because if he goes into next year and he doesn't feel like we're gonna have an offense that can help him win games, I would just like, I'm sorry, slam my dick on the table and ask for a fucking trade. Like I hate watching it happen.
No,
it's like, yo, we're just wasting
brutal.
his talent away, and it sucks. And look, I'm one of the people that has said, you know, shout out to Mike Picardi, who has said it a lot as well, that this offseason is kind of the offseason is reckoning for them. Like, this is where they have to prove that, like, they are not going to waste this young pitching. But, I mean, oh, my God, like, I really hope he gets what he deserves and he gets a really good offense. And if not, like, I hope we don't waste him. I just really hope. I really, 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 really hope we don't waste him, because that sucks.
You talk about Sandy's improvement. You know, did you ever think that he hasn't walked 3 or more batters since July 16th, and he's only done it a handful of times this season at all. And his most walks in a game are 4, I think. And, you know, after the start to his career, where you're thinking, you know, you're debating a lot, bullpen guy, 9th inning, maybe he's the closer, you know, up until maybe last year, where he really said, I'm sticking in this rotation. He was so fantastic last year. And then he's taking an even bigger jump this year. And just, Isaac, could you have ever expected that he would be a guy that his last few starts 1-0, 1-2, 1-2, 2, 1-1, like just that would ever happen to him?
No, you guys know how I feel about Sandy. This guy, he is just a bona fide ace of this freaking team, and the fact that he's just not extended already is just, you know, it's blasphemous in my opinion. Just you mentioned the innings pitch. Look at the numbers since that start in Colorado: 7 strikeouts, 7, 11, 12, 6, and then 14. And the guy, he's not walking people either. He had 1 walk with the 14 strikeouts. Who would have thought? Those evaluators are saying, oh, maybe late inning dominant reliever should probably retire at this point. But Jesus, man, like this guy is insane. He's just throwing 101 mile an hour bowling balls in the 9th inning. The guy's just phenomenal, man. I think the guy should be the ace for a very, very long time with this team.
Alex, how much better can it get? Like, it's nearly Cy Young caliber right now, right? Like, can he win a Cy Young?
Oh, for sure, he can win Cy Young. He's. I mean, you know, on a competitive team, I would say he should be a contender this year. You know, it's every time I say it, and every time that I say, okay, that's as good as we're going to see Sandy, he does something like this. Mm-hmm. So, and man, it's still a young guy. He just keeps getting better and better and better. And I agree with everything that everybody else said. It's high time, definitely this coming off season, that we extend this man and give him exactly what he deserves to do it. And probably going to be a bit, but he definitely deserves every cent that what he and his agent will ask for. And I don't care what the price tag is. You got to keep Sandy in Miami. So yeah, I want to see him here for a long time. I want to see him as a franchise guy, franchise ace. Haven't had one of those in a long time. So I think you have it here in Sandy. And it's right in front of them. They just got to get it done.
Yeah, under 2.5 walks per 9 for Sandy, 8.87 Ks per 9, 3.24 ERA on the year. That's 12th best in the National League. I mean, just been great. And yes, you talk about second half Cy Youngs. Like, I don't know if there's been a better pitcher in the NL in Major League Baseball than what Sandy's looked like in the second half this year. It's just been crazy. But, you know, another guy you want to talk about, future of the team, and a guy that for some reason we haven't talked about too much in depth recently, and it's Jazz Chisholm Jr. And now all of a sudden he's up to 15 home runs and 19 stolen bases on the season. OPS a little under 750. But I've said all year, right, if he goes 750 OPS, about 15, 20, maybe 20, 20, 5 more home runs in the rest of the season it's going to be a tall task unless he really starts finding that power stroke again. But Daniel, I'll go to you here, man. Just, good rookie year, right? It's a solid base, you would say?
Yeah, just as a base, because especially coming in where we were debating whether the second baseman was going to be Jazz Chisholm or Isan Diaz, and thank the heavens that it's Jazz Chisholm, because especially the year he's given us, even in a down year for almost the franchise as a whole, Jazz has just been great. You mentioned the OPS, the home runs, which has just been the most desperate need for the Marlins offensively, and I think this is just really great to see. It brings a lot, but it doesn't bring too much that we could still expect maybe a little more time for growth for Jazz, whether it's, hitting for average, a little more home runs, RBIs, and also defensively, which has been a talking point recently in some of the errors he's done. But overall, Jazz has had an incredible rookie year. And if I had to grade it, it's an A. It's an A rookie year for Jazz Chisholm this year.
Yeah, I mean, if Jonathan India isn't doing what he's doing in the baseball, he's, a real serious rookie of the year contender. And obviously, early he started out, he was hitting over 300 OPS in the 900s, and it's really, he had some struggles in the middle of the year, but recently he's been playing a lot better towards the end of the season. And I mean, Kev, I had this discussion. Somebody came into my mentions the other day, and I saw he got properly ratioed by a lot of you guys out there, just saying that Jazz is a below average player at best, and he's got all these flaws and stuff. But it's only going to get better, you would think. And how encouraging is the fact that we saw what he was last year, right? And he didn't look great last year, and then he comes up. And yeah, I totally forgot he was in a position battle to start the season because he's been such a storyline. But he's in a position battle to start the season, wins it, and then makes all these improvements this year. So how encouraging is that for next year in terms of he's probably only going to get better, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, this is the future cornerstone. This is the biggest piece, I think, in that infield right now. This is the future of that infield. I mean, this guy's going to be an absolute monster of a player. The consistency has been very good as of late. I mean, he's been pretty consistent. That homer, which I think the only thing I saw from that game after the highlights was incredible. That was like I think that was like the first homer I've actually seen be hit up there besides the home run derby when it took place. But man, Jazz does it all. I mean, in fielding, he runs the bases very well. He's a pretty consistent hitter. This guy has all the tools to be a successful player and an all-star in the MLB. He's going to be a big piece on this team for sure. And now you look back to that Gallen trade. Miami for sure, I think, won this trade. Gallen hasn't been all that this year. I mean, you would think it's a win-win. It was at the time, but now it's looking more of a, Diamondbacks won, but the Marlins won a lot more than the Diamondbacks when you really look back into this trade. Chisholm's just been everything the Marlins have waited. I think he's been like one of the first prospects from this era that comes up and has really shown what he's done from AAA. Because you look at Isan, I mean, wins minor league player of the year, and now he's 0 for 29 on the Marlins, this season. So you really look at it, Jazz hasn't disappointed at all, and he's just going to get better from here.
Isaac, I think it was I can't remember who. Daniel, I think, mentioned that the defense has been a concern of late. A lot of errors this year, and I kind of chalk it up to Jazz's personality, right? Like he's just exciting, likes to run around, dive for balls, try and make the flashy play. But let's be honest, like how much of a concern is his defense, and do you think it impacts whether or not he can stick at shortstop the rest of his career?
Well, I mean, I think the talent is there. Like he's shown he can be a very capable shortstop in the minor league level with the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Arizona Fall League. He's shown he can play defense. I think it's his rookie year. He went off to like a crazy good start offensively, so I think it just gets to his head a little bit. But you look at guys like Tatis, people make errors, and I think honestly, we've talked about it here. He's a much better second baseman than shortstop, I believe. So I think if he sticks at second base for a while, maybe they're going to move him to short next year. Depends what happens with Miggy Rowe. But yeah, I think that's something that any decent fielding coach can work with him and make sure he just needs to get behind the ball. I see a lot of it, even when I'm covering the games. He's charging balls that he doesn't need to charge, and he just plays very strange defense sometimes. But I think it's something that can be fixed for sure.
No, I'll go to you, man. Just having this kind of talent, this kind of personality on this roster, it feels like they haven't had that since Stanton, since maybe Jose.
So he's got such a beautiful swing that he is using a little too much on bad pitches. But if he can connect with a ball, he can send it far.
Yeah.
He last night after the game, he after his post-game interview, he stood there and signed autographs and talked with fans for at least a half hour on a getaway night when they had a flight.
Yeah.
That just brought him up to another level in terms of how he's viewed as a franchise player.
Yeah. That's a good point.
He needs to work on his plate discipline. That's for sure. He needs to work on his defense. He's charging balls when he should be waiting back on them. He's waiting back on them when he needs to charge the ball. But other than that, which are pretty big things, he's a really good player, and I really am excited for what he can do next season, along with Brian De La Cruz starting in the outfield.
Alex Carver, did you ever think Jazz Chisholm Jr. as a rookie would have a K rate under 30%?
Yeah, that's good. That's something that's good for him. Because his first time facing pitching, obviously he was a great minor league baseball player, but his first time, obviously, in a long stint over the course of a full year, I should say, facing major league pitching, and to have a K rate that low is big, for sure. I think that's exactly what Noah said. The swing is great. It's just that's ball. And that's something that's going to come for him over time, is getting the bat to the ball, keeping the barrel in the zone longer. All the things say. It's definitely true. I agree with everything that Noah said. It was a great point. I think he does try to overdo it a little bit too much at the plate sometimes, and he definitely tries to overdo it in the field, as you guys were saying. So, I definitely think longer term, I think he could handle shortstop long term, as Isaac stated. He has shown that he can definitely do that. I think moving to second base long term, though, it takes a little bit of pressure off the bat and lets him fix the offense first. And he'd be a great, and already is a great second baseman. So I wouldn't be against moving him to second base long term, especially with all that Marlins have coming long term with middle infield. So either way that it goes, I think he can fix it in the field. I definitely think he can fix it at the plate, but I think moving him to second base would definitely help take the pressure off a little bit.
Kenny, I know you love this guy, man, and you were raving about him at the beginning of the show with that swing. He puts a beautiful swing on the ball last night. I know you really love this guy, and Marlins fans do, and they should. What do you love most?
Oh, man. It's got to be just his personality, right? Because great baseball players, you can kind of find them everywhere. They're not as common as I'm making it seem, but a great baseball player with a fantastic personality, you're not going to find that everywhere. That's just not that common. But you pair that personality with the talent, with the ability, like we've been watching for the 2020 season, the 20 stolen bases, 20 home runs. I'm not talking about 2020, the year. And that's coming from me, who I have to eat dirt on that, because I said earlier on before the season started, I thought like, Isan Diaz should have the job no matter what, just to give him one final shot. And holy shit, was I fucking wrong, because I can't stand watching Isan Diaz anymore. But a guy who had never played he never played in AAA, struck out a ton in AA, and now he has a sub 30% K rate. And earlier on in the year, it's insane. It's insane. And then I think what we were talking about with his at bats earlier on in the year, you saw this approach with two strikes where he was purposely shortening his swing and taking the ball wherever it was thrown. If he was getting an outside pitch, he was going through the hole on the shortstop side of the field. I want to see him get back to that a little more, using all parts of the field with two strike counts, because sometimes it works where he's getting a ball and he's fucking mashing it into the upper deck. But I want to see that. I think he's going to be like Sandy Alcantara, where 3 years from now we're going to be like, how much better is this guy going to get? I really think the ceiling for him is just limitless, because he's shown it all this year. He's shown the ability to be a contact guy. He's shown the ability to be an elite fielder, an elite power hitter. Like he's shown it all. And the fielding, like I think that's just he's just a young guy who's new to the league. Like I think he's gonna get used to that. Obviously, he was advertised as a really, really, really good fielder, and I think he's gonna reach that eventually. So I'm not too worried about, especially when you're talking about a guy who could potentially be a 30-30 like hitter. I don't care if he look at Tatis. Tatis throws the ball like literally like and kills fans every other day with how bad he is at throwing the baseball, but people don't care because he's like electric as a hitter. So that's my take on it. I love him. I love him. Like that take that happened under your tweet the other day. I didn't even have to pitch into the ratio because people knew to attack him like security dogs. That was just horrible.
I feel bad for kind of sicking the dogs on him, but I just knew that people. I just knew that people would want a piece of that one.
You make smarter people when you do that, because that guy will never, like that's a dumb take. Like objectively, it's a dumb take. So you're educating the world.
Well, if you talk about Jazz, like, the Ks were obviously the big concern for him, right? And in March and April, I'm looking at the splits now. In March and April, 30.6%. Went up when he moved up in the lineup in May. Went all the way up through the roof to 43.2%. And you're like, okay, like this is a little scary here. Then gone down every month, 28.3 in June. He went from 43.2 in May to 28.3 in June, 27.4 in July, 19.5%, under 20% K rate in August. That's with a 6.1% K walk rate. He's just working harder on putting the ball in play. And I think the thing that Mattingly always talks about with him is you talk about it, Kenny. We've seen flashes, right? Flash here, flash there, the 15 home runs, the 19 stolen bases, some great defensive plays. It's just the consistency. If you see these consistent runs throughout the season, right, instead of a week here and a week there, but it's 2 weeks at a time, all of a sudden you're looking at a guy that's 130 weighted runs created plus guy instead of he's looking at like 103 right now, I think it is. 105 weighted runs created plus after the home run last night. It's just a good player, man. It's an objectively good player with a great skill set, and I'm excited to watch him grow.
You pointed that out after the All-Star break, I think it was. That he was kind of like struggling, and a lot of people were starting to get worried about it. And you were the one that pointed it out with the strikeout rate, that it was actually the lowest it had ever been. And I was like, oh shit! Like I based off of what you see with his averages and stuff like that, you wouldn't think it's as low as it was. But that's when I stopped worrying. I was like, dude, if he's not striking out a lot, I trust him to start with the way the beautiful swing he has and how hard he can hit the ball. I trust him to put it together. So that's when I stopped worrying. And surely enough, the last couple of weeks, he's just been doing very, very well.
The only thing that worries me about this guy is you look at his Baseball Savant page, man, it's not pretty, man.
Yeah, no, it's a little worrying.
Small victories, right? Like the strikeouts is definitely big. Ethan, props to you for pointing that out. But yeah, I mean, that's huge, and it's a small victory. The question is, what's the next step? And I think it's exactly what I said. It's in terms of more consistent contact. Because, he's striking out less, but what's the real difference if you're dribbling into, an easy, 4-3 ground out? It's really not that much of a difference. Like no strikeouts or less strikeouts is good, but you want to see the consistency of contact. And with his swing, as you stated, Kenny, he could definitely do it. It's just that when does that happen? And I think that, as we get into next season and get into spring training, that's when you really want to see it. If this guy is going to be a franchise cornerstone,
I think he's earned that chance to show he can make those adjustments, because we've seen him make those adjustments from one at bat to the next in certain games. Yeah. Like Sandy, his rookie year would have starts where he was really good and then really bad, and look at him now. He earned that chance to do that. While a guy like Alfaro, a guy like Isan, that they haven't really made any adjustments that you can see that make noticeable changes. While Jazz, there's been times where I see Jazz strike out on an 0-2 pitch that like hits Mattingly in the face in the dugout, and then he'll come up the next time and he'll look like Ichiro battling off a 14 pitch at bat and smacking it down the third base line. So that's why he's earned that chance, and that's what I'm happy about the most, especially for a young guy who never played above AAA.
Well, one guy that's on the Marlins roster right now that I want to transition to in terms of really needs to start making some adjustments is Lewin Diaz, and I think we have to kind of take this one with a grain of salt, because the we've talked about it all year, right? The situation that he's been in and just how frustrating it is, right? He does have 42 plate appearances this year, but it's been so inconsistent. It's been a game or two here, a game or two there. Now it seems like he's going to be up probably the rest of the year. Jesus Aguilar stayed home in Miami to rehab. He's not with the team on the road, so he's not going to be with them on the road trip. Little soreness in the left knee, half a month left. Maybe the Marlins kind of say, okay, let's give this Lewin guy a shot. Take the rest of the year off, Aggie. It's possible. I don't know for sure. I know they would like to get him back in the lineup because he's such an important piece for them. But whatever the case may be, it's been a tough year for Lewin in terms of having to go back up and down. But every time he's been down in AAA, he's been pretty good. He put together 120 weighted runs created plus, 845 OPS, 20 home runs. He got to 20 the other night. So it's a good year for Lewin, absolutely. But it just hasn't come together really at the major league level yet. He's only hitting 100. He does have the 3 home runs, and it feels like all of them have been, moonshots. I was at Wrigley, and he hit a ball into the camera well behind an absolute moonshot at Wrigley Field to a place I haven't seen a lot of people hit the ball. But Alex, for you, you watched a lot of Lewin this year, and just what are you looking for him in the rest down the stretch as we try and scrounge something from this season for him?
Yeah, I look at this player and his minor league track record, Ethan, and I'm sure you know this as well. This is a guy who's missed so much time coming up through the minor leagues. You can look at it just like a Fangraphs page that I was looking at before because I knew you were going to ask about him. 2018, he played 57 games. 2019, he got kind of close to a full season, but not really, and skipped around between organizations, as we know. 2020, you guys know what happened, and now here in 2021, looks like he's playing a full season. Saw what he could do in the minors, but then he's coming up so sporadically, as you guys were saying, to the majors. So it's a guy that's just really never gotten a consistent chance, A, to stay healthy, and B, to prove that he can produce over a longer period of time, especially in the majors. So what do you want to see from him? Man, honestly, it's such a great player, such a great hitter, I should say. Defense, I think, is going to be fine. I think it's going to be okay, honestly. But man, honestly, what I would like to see from him in terms of polishing off as a prospect and as a player is a little bit more opposite field. He's really kind of pull heavy, or at least was in the minors from my point of view. I don't have those stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty pull heavy from what I've seen, which is okay. But, especially for a power hitter, but, you want to see him polish off and be able to use the rest of the field. That would be really good. K rate in the minors was good. Some
really
of the best K rates that he's ever posted.
Really good.
18%.
19.2%.
Yeah, for a power hitter, that's fantastic. His call-up was so long overdue, man. This could have happened so much earlier in the year. Won't go back to that. We've talked about that at length on previous streams. But, man, I'm glad he's here now, though. And, yeah, I agree with you. Honestly,
center field. This one is gone. Wow. Way up on the batter's eye.
That thing was crushed.
A huge home run for Lewin.
Center field, more
Lewin, welcome to the party in Wrigleyville. My goodness.
Just in terms of what I would like to see is using more of the field and just start to adjust to major league pitching. And I definitely think he can do that, especially if he gets his full chance. I agree with you. I think they just hey, Aggie, man, take it easy. You were great this year, but let's let this kid go.
Yep. I'm looking at it now. Only a 21.4% K rate in his 42 plate appearances this year. So that's solid. And that's really what you're looking for like you said, from a power hitter. That is really a good number if you put that out over, a season. So I really like that number for Lewin. And you guys know I'm really high on this kid. I think at worst, it's an average hitter, below average hitter with Gold Glove defense at first base. Seeing him on the backfields at spring training was so impressive as anybody, out in the field. Really love this kid. Whenever he hits the ball, it's pretty hard. Like if he gets the ball, on the barrel, it flies. He's just got to start getting it on the barrel a little more. And Isaac, I'm curious what, if you're looking at 2022 and you say, okay, I feel comfortable putting him in the opening day lineup, what did he do at the back end of this season?
No, I mean, this team kind of just shit the bed not having him up a little sooner. I think we all agreed on that. And September numbers, what are we going to do with them? Peter O'Brien had a great fucking September. Yeah. But honestly, I think they're going to put more emphasis on his spring training next year. I think he should be playing every single day in spring training because there's a DH in spring training. There's going to be a DH in the regular season next year. So, Kevin and I were talking about that earlier. You have the DH, Aguilar can DH, and if you had gotten maybe 150, 200 at-bats from Lewin, you could kind of have an idea of what he is. But you won't really get that idea. Maybe you'll get 3 weeks of it. Maybe he performs really well. But other than that, you can't just say, hey, he's a starting first baseman next year, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But maybe he shows out in spring training, wins the job. Garrett Cooper's not here anymore, maybe, if they decide to trade him.
So they have
they have some options. They could also put Cooper in right field if that's the case, which I don't think any of us want to see. But that might be another option. But I really do think they shit the bed hard with not having him up in August at least.
This is a point in time that you want to get to, just to add into that. This is a point in time in September, not just with Lewin, but other players as well in the minor leagues. And we've talked about this too. You want to gauge what you have. You want to see what you have. Is he going to be the starting first baseman in the future? Is there enough there right now to say that, hey, we want to really give this guy a true shot, like the best shot to win the first base job next year? Or is it going to be Cooper or Aguilar or somebody else? Like DH is coming too, which that gets added into it. But man, everything this guy did at the minors was so good. Just to build off what I said before, he was going to all fields in the minors. Now in the majors, like I said, it's a little pull happy. So I mean, I know it's a small sample, but over 50% pull, I want to see him fix that. So those are the kind of things that you want to see as the season ends and as the season wears on, especially in a lost season. And as Isaac and me both said, they should have done this so much sooner. But hey, here we are. I'm glad he's here now. I hope he starts the rest of the year.
Such a good year in AAA. Such a good year. I went to the Jumbo Shrimp game last night, and I was like, the one guy that I really wanted to come see is up in the majors, and it was Lewin Diaz. But Monte Harrison did hit a walk-off home run. It was an absolute laser last night. Daniel Rodriguez, when these things are so close, it's hard to get to everybody, but I just want to hear from you on Lewin Diaz, man. I want to hear what you got.
I have to agree with Isaac. The Marlins effed up hard not bringing him up, at least, in the middle of the summer, even in August. But I think Lewin's going to do pretty good. If there was a DH, I would instantly put him in the lineup. Maybe not opening day right away. Maybe give it maybe a month or so, bring him up, see how he does. But I think Lewin has to play, especially next season. If not, then it's I don't want to say lost, but then why do we have him in the minors for? We're not going to bring him up at all. We have to bring him up next year. If not, then I don't know what this front office is doing. They have these great players in the minors, and they don't bring them up for nothing. They bring them up, for what? For another Devin Marrero experiment next year. I don't even know. I just hope we bring in Lewin. I don't want to see Garrett Cooper play every day. I don't want to see Devin Marrero. I don't want to see those guys. I want to bring up the guys with potential, the guys who can make the franchise better. And that all starts with Lewin Diaz.
And Lewin isn't exactly like a Bryson Brigman type prospect where he's the 3 first base prospect and all.
Yeah, he's not a fringe guy. No, he's not a fringe guy.
Casas, and I'm not sure who the number 2 is, but like he's a number 3 first base prospect in all of baseball. And they're just, I don't know. They like the roster construction has just been shoddy all year.
It's certainly been interesting. We've had a lot of discussion about Lewin. We've had a lot of discussion about Brigman.
Alfaro still playing left field.
Yep, that's another one. That's another one for sure. And Kenny,
that stands out,
go ahead.
Pinpoint on this really quick, Ethan, before you move on. Don Mattingly said to a question that I asked between, when do you see guys coming up this year? I asked about specifically, I think I asked about Lewin, if I'm remembering it correctly, after or right before spring training game. And he said specifically, his exact words were something along the lines of, we're done just handing out opportunities to players.
Yeah.
What have the Marlins done this year in handing players opportunities that they no longer deserve?
Forget about them.
Completely against that statement. So I don't know. I just think back to that. Every time I see Isan or Alfaro in the lineup, I just think back, or every time they call up somebody like Devin Marrero over Lewin or whatever it may be, Brigman, I just think back to that. Man, these guys have earned that opportunity, and the guys that have the opportunity have wasted it time and time again. So they've gone completely against that sentiment. So hopefully that sentiment is actually true next season.
Well, I think that
too. You think about it, it's a regular job. You go 30 days without selling a car, you're probably going to get fired, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This guy went 30 at bats without getting a freaking hit. He couldn't get a goddamn hit for his life, and it's not like he's hitting the ball hard. Like he had some bad luck, but it's not like he was having great at bats.
And that's not the first time. He did it earlier this year, where he went another 40 at bats without getting a hit. So many opportunities being handed out. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And there's instances where the 2 guys in front of Isan Diaz will walk on like 8 pitches, and he'll swing at the first pitch not into a double play. It's just been scary to watch. I think I'd put up a healthier at bat than he would, but anyway.
Well, you know what, Alex, I remember this. I remember that anecdote that you brought us, and I remember it was in relation to Jazz Chisholm Jr. versus Isan Diaz.
There you go.
That's what the quote was when they were done handing out opportunities, and they were going to play the best players that gave them the chance to win. It was before they made the decision on Jazz or Isan, but they said we're giving the best players the chance to play. And they did that. Obviously, they picked Jazz at the beginning of the year. They did it for a little while. And then some guys got hurt and some things went awry, and it just didn't happen. But Noah, I know you have to run pretty soon.
Yeah,
give us your
am about to go.
Yeah, give us your prediction for the Braves series.
Can I make the announcement just so I can feel good about myself?
No, we got to keep people around. Got to keep people around.
We need the views.
I say the Marlins take one from the series. That's just me being a little bit more conservative than usual. Truly in my heart, I think you're going to take two, but I'm just going to go with one. And I've got to head out of here because the Sabbath starts soon. So I will see all you guys on
Talk to you soon. No?
Monday
Yep.
or Tuesday?
On Monday. Yep. Monday for the National Series. And as I mentioned, stick around as Noah tried to spoil right there. We have a big announcement coming up for you right before the rest of us get to prediction time. But let's start moving our focus towards this Atlanta series. All right, we've got Trevor Rogers on the mound tonight. It's a matchup of the rookies, Trevor Rogers and Ian Anderson. And we all know that there was some hot water with Ian Anderson at the beginning of the year where some guy at Barstool, I'm not going to say his name, he who shall not be named, said just give Ian Anderson the Rookie of the Year award already. And Trevor Rogers said, I don't know about that one, Chief. And so that'll be a fun matchup tonight to see those two go head-to-head, kind of battle of the rookies. Then tomorrow at 7:20, it is Eliezer Hernandez and Uncle Charlie Morton, fresh off getting an extension with the Braves. And then on Sunday, how about this one? Another young guy matchup, Eddie Cabrera and Max Fried. That's another fun one there. So some really, really fun pitching matchups here. And let's just go ahead. Kenny, which one of these are you looking forward to most, man? There's some good blood here.
I'm one of like the rare people. I've realized like I have like an affinity with like McNair Sierra because I love like guys with no power who can hit like for contact and a lot of speed because of the 2003 Marlins with Pierre. But I've realized I'm like I don't know what it is that I love Eliezer Hernandez so much. Like I love watching that guy pitch. Yeah. I'm excited for all three matchups because I want to see Rogers go deep into a game again. I want to see Rogers kind of regain control of the Rookie of the Year award. I want to see Edward Cabrera put together a good start against a rival. That would be fucking awesome to see. And like I said, I don't know why the hell I love Eliezer Hernandez so much. The guy can barely touch like 90 miles per hour, but shit, I just love watching the guy start for some reason because he always puts together a good start. But I'm excited to see them. Do you want my prediction on how I think it goes?
Yet.
How many?
Not yet.
Okay,
predictions
if
at the end.
If you're asking me which one I'm most excited for, I'll go Trevor Rogers because I mean the guy deserves for me to sit down and watch a full game of his again because I mean I really want to see him win Rookie of the Year, and I think this against a team fighting for a playoff spot to come out tonight and shut them down would be really, really big for them.
Kev, talk to me, man. Trevor tonight, what do you want to see, man? He's got to get a good one under his belt, right?
Yeah, this is actually the one I'm most excited to watch just because of that pitching matchup. You know, the last time we saw Ian Anderson, at least the last, thing we really remember about Ian Anderson did not go well in the playoffs for us. But, yeah, this is going to be that matchup that I think is going to do Trevor Rogers pretty well. That picture is making me it's just funny, man. Yeah, Trevor, I think could go, a solid 7 innings tonight. I mean, hey, if he goes 7, man, that's a reach. But hey, I think he could really at some point he's going to reach that point where he's going to go those innings that Sandy does. Maybe it's not this season, maybe not even the next one. But something I've noticed is Sandy starts increasing innings as he goes. I mean, we saw it, 2 nights ago. We saw it when he in St. Louis, even though he got, he lost that game, but he went almost a full 9 innings. So I think Trevor could really do that tonight. I think 5-6 innings would be nice to see Trevor go at it. Eliezer, just see what he could do. I mean, he had a pretty good start against the Phillies last time, but give up 2 big-time homers that resulted in the loss at the end. And then we have Eddie Cabrera. I mean, Eddie Cabrera, just see what he could do, get some strikeouts, really keep the game in control, not get into these sticky situations where you have bases loaded and you're just in that spot where you were hitting pitchers. I think he hit a guy and he scored a run, if I'm correct. Yeah, it's just keep control. Try to see if you could really keep the fastball. Use the fastball. Use your first pitch. Use the pitch you're most comfortable with. Some reason he's using those secondary pitches, which I mean, he's giving up homers. He's giving up all of this offense production to the other team that it's just not working out for him. And I know Alex has been an advocate of, hey, you have to use the slider. Not the slider, the fastball. So yeah, if Eddie could get it going, especially against a really good team in the Braves, and have a solid 4 or 5 inning start and maybe allow 1 or 2 runs. That's a good start. That might be his best one if that happens. But
Daniel,
if I which I'm excited for, it's Trevor.
Daniel, it feels like Trevor needs a good start to keep the Rookie of the Year campaign alive tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Especially now going up against fellow Rookie of the Year, candidate or was, and Ian Anderson. And
that guy's not a Rookie of the Year candidate. He fucking sucks. Get that guy out of here.
Former Marlin legend Adam Duvall. See how he does against him, and I think this is going to be probably the main game where it depends. All right, maybe Trevor Rogers could be Rookie of the Year, maybe not. I think this is going to be probably that game that maybe just shows how the award's going to play out at the end. I think we need a big start from Trevor Rogers, especially going up against the Braves and that monstrous lineup that's just battling for a playoff spot. I think it all comes down to this game. And it's the best matchup also of the entire series also.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch.
4.1, 4 1/3 last time out for Trevor. 3 2/3 time before. Hasn't gone 6 or above since June 15th. Isaac, make or break on the Rookie of the Year campaign for him tonight?
Yeah, if not exactly that, close to it. He's got to finish the season strong. He needs to see some length. You mentioned it. He hasn't gotten more than 5 since June 29th. Obviously, he had a long layoff there due to some family stuff. But, yeah, he's got to – it would be really, really encouraging to see him go 6 innings and keep the team in the game against this playoff-hungry team. I'd be like, holy, okay, good. He's fine. He just had a little bit of a rough patch. We're straight. And if he can go the whole year without giving up 3 runs, more than 3 runs, you can't not give him the award unless India goes on a crazy September streak, which he's off to a pretty damn good start. So I would say it's pretty damn close to a make or break situation for the Rookie of the Year award.
Alex, before we get to prediction time, one more question for you. What are we looking for from Trevor and Eddie, especially in his 4th start with the Marlins?
Yeah, I think with both of these guys, Trevor obviously had all the missed time, which we know. But I know we were talking about this on the last show, I believe, about how it's just a lot of pitches early, right? He's ramping his pitch count up a lot early, and I think it's the same for both of these guys as finishing hitters. I think with Trevor, after you miss so much time and you come back and you have to get thrown right back into the fire, obviously the greatest pitchers are going to do it. This is still a young pitcher, it's still a guy that's still really young in his career. This is the first time that he's missed so much time and had to come back, and go right back into the majors after it, even though it wasn't injury related. Obviously, also probably still got a lot on his mind. So I think that's also playing into it. So for Trevor, I think it's just less pitches early, man. Just finishing guys, finishing your hitters, and just not throwing too many pitches. I don't think he's giving up too much in the way of damage. I just think he's just throwing too many pitches and getting a little wild early in the game. So I think for him, it's just limiting pitches. And then for Eddie, as Kevin said, it's his sequencing is just so
fastball,
so off. Sequencing is just terrible. Really, really, really bad. If you look at the splits, he's given up 2 home runs in even counts. It's another guy that just can't finish hitters. And, he's repeating his pitches. He's doubling up on his pitches, as we saw early. And he's just throwing so many changeups, which I don't understand. I mean, it is a good pitch. And, it can be a really good offering for him, but only, and I've mentioned this before, if he's tunneling it off the fastball. If you're throwing it so interchangeably with the fastball, he threw more changeups than fastballs again last start. And that I just don't understand. It's not the guy that we saw in the minors at all coming up. So, yeah, man, I want to see more of the fastball and definitely more of the slider, which is the pitch that he's starting to get away from because he's throwing so many damn changeups. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not talking bad about the changeup. I think it's a good pitch, but only if he's tunneling it off his other pitches, especially the fastball. So definitely more heaters is what I want to see from Eddie, more heat. But, yeah, I think he's going to be fine. It's a guy that's learning on the job here in his first
for sure.
season. This is the time to learn, right? So I'm not worried.
And I wonder if he's going to learn from, his one of his good guys, Sandy. They're boys. Yeah. Sandy, it's fastball sinker.
Yes,
when he has to, he throws those 95-mile-an-hour freaking changeups. So that's a great guy. Okay, I wonder if Sandy's had a conversation with him. El Stoudemire tells him. Who knows? But
Definitely.
those
You
are
see that,
and something that's really cool about that relation that they've really have is the way they support each other. I mean, you saw the video when Sandy got the 14th K. Eddie Steve's reaction. Come on, I mean, it's great to see how much how one helps out the other. Mainly Sandy helping out Eddie because Eddie could really turn into that Sandy Alcantara type guy for this team. In maybe 4 or 5 years once Sandy's not hopefully on the decline, but I mean not the Sandy we know right now.
Yeah, I think it's clear that Sandy is. First of all, a great tutor for Eddie, and that he is a tutor for him, that he's right there with him every time. He's talking to him right after he comes out of a start. So I think it's pretty clear. But All right, here we go. Big announcement time. Glad you guys stuck around for this. We are very, very excited about this one. Right before we get to predictions, we've got a big announcement for you guys. We have a very special guest coming on Monday. It is Craig Mish. Craig Mish is going to be joining the show on Monday. We are so unbelievably excited about this one. It's our biggest guest yet for sure. We know Craig is your favorite. And so what I want to do is I need you guys to send in questions for him. We're going to be we're basically going to do it like one of Kenny's spaces, just kind of, season 2020 season preview kind of. We're going to be looking towards next year, kind of recapping this year, going over everything. It's going to be a ton of fun with Craig. Craig likes to have fun. He likes to joke around, and he's got all the good information. There's nobody more informed on this team than Craig Mish. So fellas, ladies, gentlemen, we are so excited that Craig Mish will be joining the show. That is the big announcement. 6 p.m. on Monday night, leading up to the Nationals series, 3-game series with the Nationals. It's going to be a lot of fun. Big thumbs up for Craig Mish. So once again, Craig Mish, the man, the myth, the legend, is the man, the myth, the legend, is going to be joining us on Monday for the Marlins and Nationals.
Hey, that's a thumbs up.
That was on my feet right there.
That's why Ethan's the best at what he does.
The man, the myth, the legend. He will be joining us. We're so excited. So 2020 season preview with Craig Mish. Maybe a little Marlins Nationals talk at the end there, but Craig is going to be joining us, and that's our big announcement. And now it's prediction time. Daniel Rodriguez, you've got to run. Before you get out of here, give it to us. What do you got?
Braves win the series 2-1. I think we take this Trevor start. I think Trevor's going to come in hot. The next one, I think Charlie Morton, coming off that extension, is just going to go crazy against the Marlins. And that last one, it could go either way, but I do see Max Fried coming on top against Eddie Cabrera. So I got 2-1 Braves this series, but I can't wait for that Mish live stream is going to be incredible. I expect 1,000 people minimum in this live stream. And, I got to run, but I think the Braves take it 2-1. Marlins win 1.
Thanks for joining us, Daniel. We always appreciate your time, man. Thank you. Kevin, go ahead with your prediction.
Very quick with the Mish. We've actually had this in plan for like a long time now, It's just getting Mish, super busy guy, but we're super excited for this one. I think this may be one of the best live streams we're going to have. And send questions about Justin Twine. We know Mish will love that for sure. Takes approves that for sure.
I saw Justin Twine last night, actually.
Yeah, but I think Marlins are going to take 2 out of 3 here. Okay. They'll take tonight's start against Ian Anderson, and then they'll take the one against Max Fried. Somehow Miami always finds a way to get the best out of Max Fried, however it's pronounced. But I think Marlins are going to take 2 out of 3. The spoiler season's on, man. And I think Eddie C's going to have his best start with the Marlins, this season with his start coming up against the Braves.
Alex Carver, your prediction.
Well, first, cool about Craig. He's a buddy. He's a great guy, true pro at what he does. Awesome to be able to talk to him again. I've had him on my show. I know you guys have had him on yours. Takes, you've had him on your spaces. Great dude. I will say this about Craig. We BS all the time back and forth about not only the Marlins, but other topics as well. And he's never afraid to give you his completely 100% honest opinion. And that's what I love about Craig. Even if it's something I don't want to hear, he's always there to tell me, hey, do this or do that. And I take his advice because he's the best at what he does for a reason. So excited to get to talk to my buddy Craig and our buddy Craig. It's cool. For a prediction on the series. The Marlins were swept by Atlanta, I think, here in Miami. And the Marlins have done pretty well in terms of like when they get swept by a team to go back and take it back to them. But you're going into Atlanta. You don't have Sandy going. You do have Trevor. You don't have Sandy. Obviously, there's no Pablo. Eddie's been Eddie so far and struggled, as we mentioned. And then Eliezer, who it's really unpredictable what you're going to get, I think, with Eliezer in terms of length. So I want to say they're going to get swept, but I'll go optimistic and say that they win tonight and lose the other 2. This is an Atlanta team that's always really good, and as we've all mentioned about them, they got healthy and added on at the right time. So I think they optimistically will win tonight and lose the other 2. But hopefully Eddie does well. I really hope that this is going to be his best start. That's easy to say because he's not been good at his previous 2, but hopefully he can show it and show that he's learning. That's what I really want to see from him.
Isaac, go ahead.
Oh man, Truist Park is just like a house of hell for this fucking team. So you know what, Trevor, Eliezer, Edward, those Sunday, no, it's not Sunday, but that park, I just don't like playing there. I think the Marlins are going to get swept, unfortunately. That Sunday afternoon games at that ballpark, it just gives me bad juju. You know, I think they blew like a 7-run lead one year, and then they lost the one this year where they blew Anthony Bass blew it. So I say the Marlins win 0 out of 3.
Kenny, our special guest, go right ahead.
All right. Before I get to the prediction, all of you guys, Kevin, Isaac, Ethan, Alex, Noah, Danny, everyone that was Eli, who's hiding behind the fucking screen like the Wizard of Oz. You guys have done like tremendous work all year. It's been fucking awesome. And you guys have done it till the very end. I've fallen off because like the Marlins are just like, I have like PTSD with this shit. Like they've just like, I feel like I'm like in boot camp. They've just beat me to the ground every single year, but you guys do tremendous work. I really appreciate everything you guys do with Fish Stripes, with your baseball coverage. And it's part of everything I wanted to do with Takes Are Made was like help grow this fan base and make watching baseball fun. And you guys are like essential in all that. So you guys do tremendous work. And I just want to let you guys know that first. And Craig Mish coming on. Shout out
Tears
to Craig.
In my eyes. Thanks, Kenny.
Who's cutting money,
brother? Hey, no problem, man. But Craig, also an amazing person. Beyond the sources and all, because it's like, yeah, the news breaking. He's amazing at it. But as a person and everything else he's done, like for me, helping me grow my account really, like with the spaces, and I would do anything for that guy. He's a genuinely great person. So him coming on, I'm not surprised about him coming on at all, because you guys are great. He's great, and that's going to be a fun one. Everyone needs to tune into that one. So for my prediction, Braves, Marlins. I think playing in Truist, it's going to be fun for the Marlins because, playing at home, obviously nobody's going to games anymore because no one wants to see a team that's so far out of it right now. And the Braves are in the middle of a playoff hunt, so I think it's going to be a fun series. I think the Marlins win 1 of 3, but I think it's going to be very, very, very close games. And I think it's going to be an entertaining series. And, I mean, how entertaining can it be if we're losing 2 games and losing the series? But I think a lot of these young guys, it's going to be fun for them to play like in a playoff type atmosphere against the biggest rival they have. So I say 1 of 3, but if they take 2 of 3, I wouldn't be surprised with how close I think these games are going to be.
Yeah, the Marlins have played Atlanta really well all year. And they had a chance to win this season series. If they had taken at least 1 game, or if they had taken 2 the last time they played Atlanta, they would only need 1 or 2 here. But now they need a sweep, and I think they really want to win this season series. They just don't have the firepower to sweep them. I'm not predicting that they're going to sweep them, but it would. I know it would mean a lot to the Marlins to do it. It's just not going to happen. They just don't have enough firepower. But look, I've said Eddie Cabrera is going to be really great the last couple times, and it hasn't worked yet. I think he's going to be good again. I do. I think it's got to come eventually. Eventually, he's going to start getting some swing and miss and start using that fastball a little more. I think he's going to be good. I think Trevor really wants that Rookie of the Year, so I think he's going to come out and pitch well. But the Marlins just don't have enough, and the Braves are red hot. They're hungry. It's clear. They're really, really hungry this time around. They've been playing such great baseball, and like you mentioned, Kenny, playoff atmosphere. Atlanta, it's a tough place to play. I think the Braves take 2 of 3. I'm not going to say sweep. I think the Marlins will find their way because they're going to be close games. I know they're going to be close games. They always play them close. But I think the Braves are going to take 2 of 3 here, and the Marlins are going to lose this series. Kenny, thank you so much, man, especially for your kind words at the end there. We love your work. We love working with you. Kevin and Isaac, congrats on the show. So can't wait for the first episode. Can't wait to join you guys eventually.
Congrats, guys. Congrats.
Alex Carver, Daniel, Noah earlier, Eli behind the scenes. We appreciate all the love, guys. Show us on Monday night. Remember, Craig Mish will be here. We are so excited about it. Come, make sure to join us. Enjoy.
Tune in or I'll kill you.
Enjoy
I can
your
say
weekend.
that. They can't say that, but I can fucking say that. You're all dead if you don't fucking tune in. How about that?
Enjoy your weekend. Threats. Go Gators and go Fish.
Fuck the Gators.
Later.
Go Noles.
Go Dolphins.
Yeah, go Dolphins too.
Go Dolphins.